Good evening. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Natural Resource Board, Tuesday, August 1st, 2023. If we could, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have roll call, please?
Yes. Ms. Callahan, she should be on Zoom.
Present.
Thank you. Ms. Ware.
Present.
Mr. Stadelman.
Present.
Mr. Carano on Zoom.
Present.
Thank you. Dr. Mosblick.
Present.
Ms. Billman.
Present.
Dr. Carrier.
Present.
Thank you. Ms. Haggerty is not here. Is she excused?
I'm not aware if she's supposed to be here via Zoom or in person tonight.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody's participation, and thanks for participating on Zoom. If we can get a motion to approve the minutes of the July 18th meeting?
I make a motion.
I'll second that. Can we get a aye vote for approval?
Aye.
Aye. Same sign for nay. Approval of the minutes is passed. We'll move on to item 5, announcements. Does anybody have any announcements? Anything from the art club?
Sure. The art club has been invited to be at the Vero Beach Museum of Art from tomorrow until September 10th. And there's 48 paintings in the Patterson Gallery, which is when you first walk into the museum and right past the gift shop. And it's free to get in just to see that, and it's pretty awesome. So go visit it.
Are there any other announcements? And I think the Vero Beach Museum of Art is directly across from Riverside Theater on the 17th Street Bridge, or I'm sorry, on Old Merrill Barber Bridge on the east side. Okay, not seeing any more announcements. We'll move on to agenda. Go ahead.
Charles, I have some announcements for you
Okay, I'm
guys.
sorry. No announcements from you guys.
All right, so we've got a few announcements tonight. Congratulations to the board members who are reappointed this term. So that would be Charles, Nikki, and Thomas. So welcome back for another term.
Yay!
All right. We also have just another reminder about the International Coastal Cleanup that is coming up in September, on September 16th. I will keep you guys posted about all the details coming up about that. And recently we had a young gentleman from, I believe one of our local high schools, reaching out to us about his Eagle Scout project. And he'd like to do a native planting project around the trellis or the pergola in Garden Club Park. So I'm not privy to all the details just yet. I believe that he's going to get in touch with the Garden Club, but he's been working with Karen Miller, our city engineer, towards that end of completing his project. So hopefully we'll have another native planting in the city fairly soon.
Great. I look forward to planting some more native species plants and getting people's scout credentials and badges. And you said the International Coastal Cleanup was September 16th?
That's correct.
Great. Look forward, and whoever wants to participate in that, I'm sure they have a website that you can go to and sign up. Is there any other announcements? No? Okay. All right. We'll move on to item 6, agenda modifications. Does anybody have any agenda modifications?
I have one for the board.
Okay.
All right. I would like the board to consider possibly to go under the new business item, the alternative dates for the September meeting.
Okay, an alternative to September meeting. Okay, do we have to have that as an action item? Do I have to put that on the agenda?
I believe that would be an action item, yes, because you
Okay,
would be approving the new date. if any.
Okay, I make a motion to move the September meeting, and then we'll open it for discussion for the date. Is that the way we want to do it?
During the new business section?
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
Yes,
you got it.
yeah, during new business, please.
Okay, so, at new business, we'll do a, alternative date for September's meeting. Okay, are there any additional agenda modifications? All right, not hearing any, we'll move on to item 7, public input. And not seeing any, is there any public input on Zoom?
Nobody's raised their hand.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to item 8, unfinished business. And item A under number 8 is Sustainable Sebastian, goal summary presentation and champion assignments.
Last meeting, we talked about what we're going to do for Sustainable Sebastian, so we're just going to go over briefly.
Oh, I'm sorry, Felicia, could you talk into the microphone?
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
can you hear me? Is this good?
Can you hear now? Okay,
All right,
gotcha.
awesome. All right, so we're going to go over what we talked about last time, just kind of a brief overview, and then this is something that will be brought to council for their information to show them what we're moving towards for our Sustainable Sebastian projects. So, all right, so here, just basic slide on our initiatives. You guys know the drill. And to go over, we have our completed tasks for Initiative 1 to the end of reducing single-use plastics. We completed task 2D, 3A, and 3B for the implementation of native Florida landscaping and Florida-friendly principles. We've completed 5A, 5D, and 5E. For the for the city's codes and policies, we've completed 7A, 7B, 7C, 8A, and 8B. For reducing the city's operational carbon footprint, we've completed task 10A, 11A, 12A, 12B, 13A, and 13B towards protecting and restoring our water quality. We've completed 14A, 14B, 15A, 16A, 17A, and 17B. And for last but not least, for the city's overall livability, we've completed task 20A. So in summary, what we've done is add bottle refill stations to our parks. We've hosted, of course, annual cleanup events. We've added more native plantings on city properties. The comprehensive plan was adopted in 2021. The IPM plans, both for the parks and the stormwater department, were developed. Again, the overlap between some of the initiatives is clear when we see that bottle refill stations also applies to the operational carbon footprint of the city. Bike racks were installed. Of course, we always hold our annual shredding event during the Earth Day Festival. Hybrid and EVs, hybrid vehicles and EVs were also added to the fleet. Recycling bins have been added in every office. We've hosted workshops, or I guess you guys, because this was before my time, but you've hosted workshops on stormwater and LID and hosted speaker events in the past. And of course, now we have our grant for the Tulip Pond project, and the scavenger hunt markers were placed in Riverview Park. So, well done, congratulations, for all the stuff that we've done. Now, looking forward for the home stretch of our 5-year implementation plan for these next 14 months. The tasks remaining for the reduction of single-use plastics include 1A, B, and F, and then goal 2 tasks of A, B, and C. For the native landscaping practices, we're going to be focusing on 5B, 5C, and 5E, and goals 6B. For our codes and ordinances and our city policies, we've got task 9A, B, and C. To reduce our operational carbon footprint, we've got tasks 13B, 13C, 13D. For protecting our water quality, we've got 16B and 16C. And for our city's overall livability, we're focusing on tasks 18A and 18B. In summary, we are going to focus on reducing our single-use plastics in the city's operations and use what we've learned to engage the community. We'll add even more plantings to city properties. We'll improve our tree protection and landscaping ordinances. We'll audit our own operations and find areas for resource conservation and improvement. We'll develop the green infrastructure plan, which is already in the works, and we'll assess the applicable ordinances that may help us with our GI, LID, and best management practices. And we will conduct a walk audit to focus on our city's pathways for human traffic. Thank you guys so much, and let's go over any questions you might have, and then we can go forward with choosing our champions.
That's really great presentation, putting everything together. We can fall back to the summary part and see how we're doing as far as asking any questions. But I greatly appreciate your work. And Michelle, you've been here the whole time too. You've seen everything that's happened, and you've really taken real responsibility for what's happening here in the environment in Sebastian. So it's great to see that transition, and you've alleviated a lot of worries that may have been out there because we just didn't know what was going to happen. But you've done just fantastic. Ms. Billman, we'll start with you down there. If you would like to ask any questions on through the summary that Ms. Gordian just did, if you have any questions about where we're at, what we're doing with sustainable. Could you turn on your microphone, please?
I said I was really impressed with the amount that has been accomplished in spite of COVID, and Felicia's done a fantastic job. I'm real impressed with you as well, my dear. And as far as the summary goes, I think everything looks really good. I myself have preferences as to what I feel passionate about, and that would have to do primarily with the landscaping and the livability of the connecting trails and stuff like that. So I'm totally available to get involved in any of those aspects of it. I just need input. So is that adequate?
That's great. No, appreciate the participation. Do you have any other questions or anything?
Not at this time. I think it'll be things later on. I would like to kind of focus on this, and then there are other things I'd like to address at later date. So.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Sherrod, I do have a question for you. Can you clarify which goals you said that you were most interested in, which would be your top 2 or 3?
Well, my primary focus would like to be on the tree ordinances and also native landscaping. I would be more than happy. I don't know who's in charge of your little courtyard area out there, but I would be more than happy to go out there and take care of that and get it looking nice. I am a proponent of trimming, and that encourages a lot of fuller growth, and it looks a lot nicer. So I would be more than happy to volunteer to help in that aspect as well.
Thank
Do
you.
you have any additional questions, Ms. Gordian? Michelle, do you have anything? No. And I say your name, is it Faulkner?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure, I didn't want to say it wrong. Dr. Mosblack?
I don't have any questions on the presentation. Are we meant to be suggesting the goals that we're interested in
We'll do
at
that
this point?
next.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then I'm good. Thank
Okay.
you very much for the summary. I think that was very well put and put everything together in a nice little packet.
Ms. Ware?
Well, I'm all about community education and getting the word out to the schools as well as different homeowners associations and things like that. So I think that could be the best way I can assist in things and creating signage and things like that. I think I can help. I know Sheraton can help with that as well. I don't really see that the BMPs and LIDs and all that's kind of beyond me, so I don't think I really want to volunteer for that. So, and as far as a walk audit, I don't know if, are you are you proposing that we walk with staff with that, or we suggest areas to improve? From what, I don't understand how we can actually champion that particular initiative.
Yeah.
And we'll get to the champion right here, just right next, actually. So as soon as, I don't really have any questions either. The only thing I wanted to just ask, is there anything that you would see as a major impediment to achieving any of these goals that we could address for you?
The biggest thing I can see is time and the energy of staff to, work towards these ends. Like we discussed last time, it's mostly myself and Lisa, maybe with a sprinkling of help from other staff. So anything that you guys can take on to help move these projects forward is going to be a huge help. And I don't know necessarily what your availability will be to help in each particular project, but one of the intentions that Lisa and I discussed is to sit down with each champion when we do finally select each champion and kind of have a meeting discussing how we want to move forward with each project, particularly with that champion, and then we can bring reports each meeting to the rest of the board discussing how that project is moving forward, and if we need to include other board members, because some of the goals will involve multiple board members and not necessarily just the champion. So I hope that kind of answers your question.
No, that's just fine, Ms. Cordian. Does anybody have anything in addition they want to add? We're going to move on to,
Excuse me, Charles?
yes, I'm sorry.
Charles, can I
Yes,
butt in?
hello,
Okay.
yeah, on Zoom, Mr. Carano. Yeah, I forgot about you guys, I apologize.
Yeah,
My
well,
people, sorry.
it happens.
Go ahead,
Felicia,
Mr. Carano.
so the plan is you're gonna meet with us routinely, timeframe, so that, we're not just doing this once a month?
If I understood your question, 'cause, sorry, it was a little hard to hear. Yeah, the intention is to meet with the individual board member champion outside of the normal meetings to help move the projects forward. So it's not like our only interaction is once a month. It'll be more frequent communications than just that. But the reporting to the rest of the board would be at the regular meeting time. Does that
Okay,
answer?
that's what I was asking. That's fine.
Are there any additional questions from anybody on Zoom? Okay, not seeing any. I appreciate everybody's participation up to this point, and I will remember everybody that's participating from another place. Okay, let's move on to the champion of each individual item.
Can I, is it possible, can I hear from the members on Zoom your most sought-after goals? So I can kind of compare that to what I have on my list so far for those who've already said what their preferences are.
Okay, Felicia, it's Tom Carano again. I would be interested in goals 5, 6, and 9.
Right. Charles, did you happen to say what your preferences were?
What I was wanting to champion? Well, actually, what I usually do is I wait for everybody else to pick what they want, and then I pick up what's left over, and that's how we end up with all these different people on doing different things on the boards, and then I'm not there. But no, I'll wait for everybody to see what they want, and whatever's I do not have it doesn't matter what my job is. There are no small jobs. Whatever's left over, I will take.
Want to hear from the rest on
Dr.
Zoom?
Carrier? Yes, sir.
Felicia, I think you and I chatted a little bit. Goals 13 and 2 would be ones that I'd be interested in, so I can make a test of myself around City Hall.
That's right. So 13 and 2, Dr. Carrier. And you're making a good list of all these? Because I just am not making a list of any of this.
I do have a list going already,
Okay,
kind
good.
of keeping tabs on who's
I
got
just do
what.
not. Okay,
This is
anybody
Ruth.
else on Zoom? Ms. Callahan?
Yes, hi. I've already sent something to Felicia, and it was that 1-2, that combined goal would be my top preference, and then the very last one, more about the livability and walking and bike paths and such, would be a secondary one for me.
Thank you, Ms. Callahan. Do you have anybody else on Zoom for picking what they want to champion? Okay, not seeing any. We'll move to inside here. Ms. Billman, you've already done yours, or not? You good? Ready?
I did want to add, if no one else has spoke up for these, I think 18, goal 18, A and B, would also be one I could be considered for as well. So, Felicia, I have 5, 6, 9, and 18.
And then if we have some overlap, we can always
Exactly.
adjust.
Yeah, okay.
Dr. Mosblett?
Yeah, I had sent my preferences to Ms. Gordian earlier today, and I think I had put down goal 16, 18, and then 13 as a backup.
Did you get everything you needed there, Ms. Gordian?
Yeah, I'm trying to kind of jot down real quick, based on what you guys have said so far, what I think will work best.
And
because
then
there's
jog
some,
around, just make the deletions or additions as you need.
Sorry?
Like, say, like if somebody picked the same one, you know?
Yeah,
just let 'em
exactly,
know,
because,
so
yeah, if you guys
we'll
overlap
work
on
that
some of
out.
the same ones, then I need to kind of figure out, okay,
Yeah, Ms. Ware?
where to move you around.
Oh, could you turn on your mic? I'm sorry.
1 and 2, or 5 and 6. Those are all ones that I'm interested in. But there's other pieces of things that I would be happy to co-chair with, too.
Right.
Perfect.
So,
Absolutely. If we consider 1 and 2, and then 5 and 6 both combined sets, is there a third one that would pique your interest?
13,
13?
Does anybody have any comment on anything we talked about with our assignments that we're choosing to do? Anybody on Zoom have any comment so far?
Charles, it's Samajan. The only comment I would make is that it's important to have, some of these goals are rather large, and helping people work on them would be a really good idea, instead of just picking one for each one. Everybody has a different perspective. So, you know, you may want to have multiple people working on goals at the same time.
I appreciate that point of view.
Yeah.
So that's a good idea.
How would, just a quick question, with sunshine laws, how would 2 people champion, excuse me, and still be able to, like, I don't know, say for example, Charles and Donna were working on the same goal. If they met and were discussing things that we could potentially be discussing at a meeting, would that be an issue?
That honestly may be an issue. I think that's something that I might have to talk to our city attorney about. That's kind of why when we were discussing the idea, or let me backtrack a little bit. When bringing up the idea of the champions, I hope I maybe made it clear that that there will be participation from the rest of the board for some of these goals, because I know, like, especially for like the tree protection and landscaping ordinances, we'll have to have a full subcommittee for that particular goal. So it won't just be just the champion, but anything to that only one person really needs to work on to push that forward, it would be the responsibility of the champion. If not, then I could delegate it to another member of the board in that case. So that one's a really good example of where there will need to be more minds involved in the mix for each particular goal. Sherida?
So I have a question.
Ms. Billman?
In regards to that as well. So if we do have subcommittees, would we have a meeting like with you? Say like if Kim and I wanted to do something together, but we didn't want to have it in front of the whole board, would we meet with you or Lisa?
I don't know if even we would be able to allowed to like Lisa or I plus multiple board members but not being the full board. I don't know if that would be allowed. That's why it's kind of like we would sit down with the single champion for that, and if need be, I can delegate to another board member. I mean, if we want to, we can absolutely select backup champions, you know, somebody who would be the first go-to to say, okay, this person can't take care of it, but the vice champion or whatever term we'd like to use would be the one who would take care of it thereafter. And it wouldn't be necessarily for the entirety of the goal, it would just be whatever the task might be at hand.
Felicia, for the pest management plan, we had multiple people, we got together, we held a meeting at City Hall, and it worked out quite well.
Was it a special meeting, do you mean? Something
Well, they
like
weren't
that?
special meetings, they were like group meetings, at City Hall, where minutes were taken, we did everything we normally did, except we had a group of people meeting and discussing how we were going to proceed.
It's the same thing, it's a special meeting. If you're taking minutes, you'd have to publish it and everything else.
Yeah.
And a lot of what you guys are referring to are probably the sunshine state laws or violations thereof. And a lot of that also refers to items that are coming up for vote and not things that we've already voted on that are in our description, but a guidance from the city attorney would be best, because I'm always getting in trouble. But it's just one of those things. Is there any additional questions? Anything that's left over, just go ahead and let me know. Usually, you know, you'll compile what you have, you'll see the overlap, and, you know, we'll have a little housekeeping to do probably. And, but I'll take whatever's left over, just send me an email and tell me what I gotta do. Do you have any additional input you want to put in, Ms. Gordian?
So based on what we've discussed and just focusing on everyone who's here tonight via Zoom or in person, I kind of have a tentative list, and then of course, you know, if we want to, we can come up with sub-champions or vice champions or whatever additional champion we'd like to assign. For goal 1, I'll do it by the goal. It's like the point of the initiative, because the numbering is, to be honest, a little confusing. But for single-use plastic reduction, I have Ruth. For native landscaping, I have Sherida. For the city's policies and ordinances, I have Tom. For reducing the city's operational carbon footprint, I have Donna. For the GIBMPs and LID, I have Nikki. For the overall livability of the city, I have Charles. And Jeff, I have you kind of already listed as a backup for goals for the single-use plastic reduction and for reducing our operational carbon footprint, because those two initiatives overlap with each other so heavily, and those were both on your list of things that you said you were interested in. And if we need to, we can also break it down further. So let's say if we break it down by per goal, there are more goals than there are of the overarching initiatives. So if we want to, we can assign a specific goal for Jeff to take.
Okay, just to be sure, there was a couple of things that I couldn't hear you, but I'll go through it real quick. Initiative number 1, Ruth Callahan is gonna be the champion for that. Initiative number 2, Miss Billman is gonna be the, champion for that, if I'm not mistaken. Who was the champion for initiative 3?
Tom?
Tom, okay, Mr. Carano, all right. And then initiative number 4, was, Miss Ware. Initiative number 5, BMPs, LID, and GI, Dr. Mosblick, if I had that right. And then I am, initiative number 6. And then we'll tighten that up as we go, and, we'll develop a protocol for what. And Dr. Carrier is our, basically our at-large for Initiative 1 because it's so large, and probably anything else that comes through, if I have that, if I heard you right.
Yes, I was trying to, at least just, this is kind of,
Well, there's gonna be a
Just
lot
piecing it together
going
right
on
now.
here now. We all got our jobs, we got some marching orders, we got something to do that we can look at as individuals, and we come back as a team, obviously staying within our wheelhouses and our scope of work and initiative. But we really appreciate clarifying all that, because that really helps us, and instead of all of us doing everything, now we can really focus on what we're supposed to be focusing on. So it gives us a mission. Ms. Gordian, do you have any other?
I mean, I just I guess my question is if there's any feedback from Zoom or from you guys, anything that I should be factoring in to this, because I'm not holding you to this, kind of instant jumble of what I've suggested, so.
Hold them to it, Ms. Gordian, make them, absolutely, hold them to it. Does anybody else have any questions on their chosen assignments? And remember, we are all volunteers. If you find to be overwhelmed, just reach out immediately. Everybody who has been here for a while remembers my first year here. It was okay, yeah, huh? But I really should have reached out for help a little bit sooner. Luckily, I had the Teacher of the Year to dig us out. So, but this is our marching orders. This is what we're going to do. So we greatly appreciate that, Ms. Gordian. Does anybody have any additional comments on any of our goal summary presentation or the champion assignments? Anybody online? Miss?
I have just a quick question, Felicia, and I know that you probably covered this in the last meeting or two, but once we have, now that we have kind of our focus as an individual, will you be reaching out? Would we expect to hear from you and see what our kind of to-do list would be?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So the goal would be next to set up a meeting with you,
Perfect.
each one of you, and figure out, okay, how exactly we're going to move forward. These are our tasks. This is what I'll take on. This is what the respective board member will take on.
Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mosblick. Is there any additional comments or questions? Anybody participating on Zoom have anything? Okay, great. This looks like some good work that we got ahead of us, guys. And if anybody needs anything, please don't hesitate to reach out first to Felicia, and then if you need to, reach out, go up the flagpole, because that's what we've been told to do. Okay, we'll move on to item 10, new business. Is there any new business? Anybody have any new business? Ms. Gordian? Oh, go right ahead. Oh, right, that we have an agenda modification. I don't have it on here. We're gonna change the date for the September meeting. I'd like to, first make a motion to change the date for the September meeting. Can I get a second?
I second.
And can we open that for discussion? What date would you like?
So the intention behind suggesting a date change is that the day before what would be our next meeting is Labor Day. So likely, projecting that some people might be out of town. City Hall will be closed that Monday. So just wanting to make sure that we'll have as many of you present as possible for that Tuesday meeting. So if not, it would just simply be the week after. I would suggest the week after. But if you guys are comfortable with that first Tuesday, then and everybody is actually going to be around, then it's not necessary to make the change.
Okay, so we're talking third Tuesday?
Second Tuesday.
Second,
Yeah,
the 12th?
Yeah, the 12th.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I have high school open house that evening.
And
I'll be here on the 5th.
I have an obligation also on the 12th, so, but
But
I'm
I'm here
okay
on the
with
5th.
the 5th.
Yeah, I'm here on the 5th too.
Wait, no, that's the first Tuesday.
Yeah, the 5th
Yeah.
is the first Tuesday.
We're trying to change that date, right?
If
it's a
if
problem.
it's necessary.
If
If
it's a
it's
Oh,
really
it's
not a
not a problem
conflict,
for me.
then,
I don't have any problems with the 5th either.
Okay, doesn't seem like a problem.
No problem.
no, okay.
All right, I would like to, withdraw the motion to change the date. We'll just keep it on the 5th then? There's no change?
Will that work for you?
Yeah, as far as I understand, yes.
Okay, okay.
And again, if something does come up, it's always family first. So, keep that in mind, everybody. And whatever we have to do, you know, just keep that in mind going forward. So we're gonna keep the date, for September 5th for the same date. That's not a change. Do I have to do anything for my motion to make that null? Okay, gotcha. Just making sure. All right, okay. All right, so, any other additional new business? No, not seeing any? I'll go
I
ahead,
have a quick
Dr.
question. Do we have
Musselman.
any updates on the cleanup that we did on the
Oh, yeah.
22nd? Any data or?
Unfortunately, I don't have any data for you maybe I'll have to reach out to them and see if they have anything to share with us about the cleanup,
Yeah.
but I haven't heard anything yet about the
Okay.
total numbers.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I wanted to say thanks to everybody for coming out. Thanks for saying something about that. Treasure Coast cleanup, you know, it started out great. Everybody came out. Mayor Jones was out there. First Lady of Sebastian, Carrie Jones, was out there. It was just really fantastic to see everybody just coming together, other than coming together to get paid or something like that. Just let's clean up the place. The only thing that bugs me is that I don't see anybody here who would throw any of that garbage into the lagoon. So the people who are picking it up, I don't feel are the same people who are throwing it in. So if everybody could remember to please bring back everything you got that you took out with you, that would be just fantastic. Watch the fishing line and everything else. But it was a great event. We greatly appreciate you coming out so early, setting up the tent, making sure we had something to drink, weighing all the garbage. And it's amazing how much garbage fits in that bag, and you weigh it out. It's like, whoa, where'd all this garbage come from? I think this year here, we experienced a small hurricane, so we may have gotten some additional blow up of garbage from other places because of that. But I did notice there was a little bit more garbage out there this year. I mean, I didn't find a train wheel, but it felt like to me everywhere I looked there was something to pick up. And but it is what it is. So I was glad to see everybody out there. It was a fantastic event. Treasure Coast Waterway cleanup. They did a fantastic coordination of everybody up and down the lagoon. And I'm sure, again, it's going to be thousands of pounds overall picked up. And thank you for doing such a great job, Felicia. And we look forward to doing more of your events. So we greatly appreciate it.
Charles, I have one more thing.
Ms.
Can I add
Bowman?
one more thing? I wanted to ask, who do we talk to about getting more recycling containers and near like the boat ramp and different public places along the waterfront? I walk there quite often and they're just always overflowing. And most of the recyclables end up in the trash if that's not overflowing. So I didn't know where to go with that, or if that's a possibility we could maybe look into it, especially when we have events, that there be recyclable containers at the events.
I agree with that because I'm in the park with the art club, and it's very hard to find the recycle bins anymore. They used to have them, like 6 or 7 of them. Now it seems like they don't have the blue ones anymore. They just have that automatic ones. I don't know, it's just, one whole side of the park didn't have any recycling bins a couple of times during the year, so I don't know where they're going.
Well, it's fantastic input. Thank you very much. Do you need anything else, Ms. Gordian?
Nothing from me?
Ms. Faulkner, do you have any input that you want to put in?
I do not, but it was nice to be here tonight. Nice
It
to
was
see you all.
Great to see you. You know, they got you tucked away, way back, way in the back now. Again, I'd like to thank Mr. Jones, Mayor Jones, for coming out and participating in the Treasure Coast cleanup. If I don't have any other new business, anything, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second that. I vote to adjourn.
Aye.
Aye.
And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.